Test, 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 test. Good afternoon and welcome to the City Council Informational Meeting. The meeting will start in 60 seconds. Is Jim Entenman coming, Michelle?
Call this meeting to order. It's March 12th, 2013. This is the informational meeting in the Sioux Falls City Council. I welcome everyone who's here with us live at Carnegie Town Hall and those of you watching us on CityLink or on siouxfalls.org. Great to have you all here. We're going to run through a couple of items and get started right away. Let's start with staff report. Lori Hogstead, City Clerk. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you. Council Chair Erpenbach, fellow council members, just a few items to bring up today to your attention. We did a walkthrough of the Carnegie building the last week or so with Sue Quanbeck-Etten, Director of Central Services, and then followed that with Eric Yelkin, the Facilities Manager. And by we, I mean myself, Jim David, and Dave Bixler. And there's just some minor maintenance issues that we're going to take care of in the building just to keep the inside as nice as the outside. One thing we did talk about was this year, 2013, we are going to replace the carpet in the rest of the building. This is original carpet from when the clerks and council office moved into this building. And we're looking at probably the third quarter of 2013. And of course, we'll work to coordinate that with the schedules to make sure that, you know, this room alone will probably take a week and a half or so to complete the carpeting and painting. It's another thing they're talking about is touching of the paint, which has not been done. And so we'll coordinate that. We'll probably have them start a morning following a meeting and then pick one of those 5-week months that we can have an entire extra week to get that done. And so we'll have everything done except our office, which was done last year when we did the furniture realignment. So new carpet, and also the chairs will be replaced, and we are going to bring in some sample chairs just to test out, see what feels comfortable, and go from there with the purchase of the chairs. Also, as part of the spring construction, we're going to have lawn work done. They're going to do a spring cleanup of our lawn and then assess the plants and that type of thing. And quite a bit of work was done last fall to prepare for this spring because our lawn took a beating with all the construction going on, and plus it was, you know, so terribly dry, and our grass was feeling the pain of the dryness. So they did some work on this last year, and Eric let us know that this will be completed by Mother's Day, by that weekend. So mid-May, they'll have an assessment done and have the lawn cleaned up nice and get ready for spring and summer. One more construction item to mention is there's going to be a road construction project, street restoration on 10th Street and 11th Street from Minnesota to 2nd Avenue. And this will begin, those two sections will be done simultaneously. It will begin approximately April 1st with completion at the end of May. So it's going to be about a 2-month time period. There will be times where we will not have parking on 10th Street in front of the Carnegie. They're going to have the roadway down to 2 lanes at times. And so I just wanted to mention that because that parking does get utilized quite a bit. Of course, the night meetings will be fine because we can still use the parking lot east of the building and Home Federal if they have spots available after hours. 4 o'clock, we could run into some situations. I did ask Matt Nelson, Public Parking Manager, about parking, and he said as it is now, the procedure is we can use the east lot as spaces are available, but there may at times, if we have a number of people attending meetings at 4 o'clock, that we will have to park 1 to 2 blocks away, which is still considered within reason for walking to the meetings. We will be able to retain 9 out of our 10 disabled parking spots, so that's good news there. Otherwise, I just wanted to let you know about that coming up. That's 3 weeks away already, so it will come up soon. And if you see a few things going on in the building, you'll know that we're doing a little bit of maintenance and then the outside projects.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you. Questions for Lori? Councilor Rolfing.
Lori, on that parking, I just noticed this today when I parked out here on the west side, that parking begins at 4 p.m. I'm wondering if that could be moved up to 3:30 so
okay.
that could add some additional spots during informationals.
All right, I'll check on that.
Okay, Councilor Aguilar.
This is such a female question, but are we going to paint the same color?
Well, not necessarily. They did say we could pick out paint colors. So any advice you have, we would love to have, because there's hundreds, thousands to choose from.
Are we looking
Ideas?
at the same carpet that we have in the clerk's office?
Yes, we are.
I like that carpet.
The carpet squares, and they will have to put, remember when we did that room and we had to do an underlayment because the floor was not even, and it works fine with the rolls of carpet but not the squares, so they're aware of that and have that plan to put possibly an underlayment down. But yes, if you would like to pick out paint, I'm sure we would love it. We would appreciate that.
Councilor Aguilar, would you like to create a committee for that?
I want to be on that committee.
Oh, no, you don't.
We need a balance.
Task force.
Men are colorblind.
Oh, my
We
Lord.
mentioned wallpaper, but Eric had kind of a stricken look on his face. No, we're just kidding, yeah. No, definitely paint, but there's much, yeah, we would appreciate help with the paint. Great.
Councilor Jamieson.
If I could, the request during this time that the carpet's being replaced, that maybe we look at these posts, some of these posts that are behind our chairs that used to be a part of a railing. Is there a reason why? Maybe I'm not informed, but if they could go away, I think it'd help.
Okay,
Anybody?
other thoughts about that? Leadership kind of disagrees on that. Councilor Entenmann and I heard that as well the other day and would prefer that they stay for safety reasons as much as anything, but I'm open to conversation. Other comments about?
I've stated for a while,
Councilor Anderson, you want to turn on your microphone?
it is on. I've stated for a while that I'd like to see them removed also. I don't think they are a safety reason. They were there for a railing. We removed the railing because of confinement, and they are still confining here now. If you sit in front of one, you can only move a few inches.
Sorry.
So,
Okay, other comments? Councilor Rolfing?
Yes, I would agree that they could be moved, and as long as we're doing a little remodeling, that they could, that a little larger lip could be put on the back here for safety, rather than using those as a block in the back.
So then question, can this change wait until the carpet gets changed? So that if they
Oh,
do
yeah,
that
that's what we're
lip,
thinking.
that the post, we can leave the post there until the carpet gets changed. We're okay with that? Any other thoughts on this? Yes, Councilor Anderson.
the last thing, Lori, you were saying that you were looking at the third quarter to do the construction?
Correct. Or the carpet and,
Sure.
yes.
Just a suggestion, in October, we have 5 Tuesdays.
Okay, that would be a great month, wouldn't it? Okay. We had looked at the calendar, and I think July, but then July we have budget hearings, and we just didn't want to run into any issues there, so October would be good. Thank you.
Okay. Other thoughts or comments on this one? Questions of Lori?
I do have
Yes,
one.
Councilor Rolfing.
I've been known to be frugal at one time or another. My wife calls me something else. But I noticed this red carpet right down here probably has been stepped on 5 times since it was put on, or else once every 3 or 4 years when people are sworn in. And I'm wondering if that can be, maybe saved for some reason, because it has not been walked on very much. I don't know, just an idea. If you can reuse the carpet there some way, I don't know. I'm just the way I think.
I'll make a female comment then about that as well. It's
Okay.
not going to
Did I
match the
just
brown,
prove her?
honey.
Did I just prove her point?
Yes, you
Okay,
did.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rolfing. Well intended, though it is. Other comments, Councilor Staggers.
Yeah, Lori, I was just wondering about the chairs. I guess I'm wondering, why do we have to replace the chairs?
Oh, I should have clarified that better. I meant the chairs that you sit in up here.
Oh.
These, not the audience chairs. The audience chairs
Okay.
are fine.
And I
That
guess
would be
I'm
a
wondering
lot.
now about these chairs.
Well, I just think it's time, there comes a time when the chairs need to be replaced. They just don't sit as comfortably. And so I know that, I believe it was Canfield office that we could get some samples of chairs to test out, just to see what would be comfortable and what would fit up here.
They are old and well-used, and they've been here since whenever this room was remodeled.
Right,
my
2001, I
understanding.
believe.
So, well-used. Okay, other questions, comments? Right. Thank you, Lori.
right,
Appreciate the
thanks.
report. Moving on to Jim David, Legislative Operations Manager. Welcome, Jim.
Good afternoon, City Council. Jim David, City Council staff. The South Dakota Legislature is currently in recess. As the governor determines whether to veto some of the bills, they will reconvene on the 25th of March. Many of you have seen or noticed in your email that Senate Bill 51 was amended again. This time it did add municipalities back in as a revenue source, but it did include a clause that requires a good faith negotiation between the Department of Revenue and the affected parties, which would be municipalities or the South Dakota Municipal League. The other, another bill we hadn't discussed before is Senate Bill 106. It's a youth distracted driver bill. This actually bans wireless devices with drivers, with restricted drivers permits, and it considers that as a secondary offense. Our upcoming events, as many of you know, tomorrow at 4 o'clock we have the council work session. We're going to be discussing the procedures manual and also public testimony. And then on Friday at 2:30, the council will be touring the South Dakota Technology Business Center and the Graduate Education Applied Research Center, also known as the GEAR Center. And that, again, is 2:30 on Friday. And then finally, just to let you know that the University of South Dakota has a short-lived lead of 46 points to South Dakota State at 44. So happy to entertain any questions.
It is now currently 46-45,
Very good.
just to keep you up. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Other questions for Jim? Great. Thank you very much. Moving on, report from the Operations Committee.
Yes, on Friday, the Operations Committee met, and the topic of discussion tomorrow for our working session will be that of the draft proposed procedures manual, which has been worked on for about the last 8-9 months. Again, this is a guide for current city council members, and it will also serve as a training manual for those elected in the future. Each of you should have received a draft copy, but there were some changes that were suggested at our meeting on Friday. We also discussed Carnegie Town Hall use policy, and the purpose and intent of this policy is to utilize the Carnegie Town Hall for city use or city-related activities. We will include this after it has been discussed by the council and approved. This will also go into our procedure manual, but we will be discussing it separately. And then we did set the dates for future meetings. The Operations Committee, as all of you are aware, is a new committee of the council, and we, the way that it was set up is that it would meet quarterly. So the next meeting will be held on June 7th, 2013. The membership, as a reminder, is the immediate past chair of the council, current leadership, and then one member which is elected by the council at the time that we elect membership. So we will be electing new membership in May, and so June 7th is when we set the next meeting of the Operations Committee.
Great, thank you. Questions for Councilor Aguilar? Councilor Jameson?
Was the draft emailed to us? Is that?
It should have been in your mailbox.
Yeah, I think it's hard copy.
It's hard copy, I believe.
A hard copy was delivered to, no, it has Carnegie on the front cover of it. It was
I just picked up my mail, but maybe I just got missed, or
it was on Tuesday
Of last week.
of last week.
And then
so.
the clerk has just informed me it is also on SIRE. So.
Okay.
It's on Sire, but I do have extra copies in the back too, Councilor Jameson, I could grab, so.
Okay, anything else on Operations Committee? Thank you for your report. Moving on, City Council open discussion. Items for open discussion this afternoon. Councilor Jameson?
couple items. I'm going to be gone next Tuesday when the second reading is in the final hearing for the shaped places. And I just wanted to share that, and certainly there's still time, and I hope to get to this, but I thought I'd bring it up here if I could. The changes to commercial zoning. If there's a value to having signs posted at these new changed zoning areas to somehow inform the public, just throwing this out, so that a neighbor who lives near a corner could understand better what could be built there without a conditional use permit. So in essence, if all of a sudden it's C2 and they can build a 25,000-foot building, they shouldn't be surprised if somebody starts digging and building a building. And they don't call wondering what's happening, what's going on. On this sign, perhaps, this boundary could be posted with this is now C2, and go to the website to find the map that outlines this, all the details, a phone number to call if they have questions, just some outreach, I don't know, just to the public to help them get across this bridge with us. Of all the things that I've heard and understood about what's happening in the changes, that's the only place I feel a little, that maybe needs a little more help, is that interaction with the public. And as you know, I've said before, I think when the public does come forward with a conditional use and wants to testify about how the fencing should be, the berm, the trees, and the setbacks, and all those things we've struggled with here, that, well, they're going to be absent from that conversation because all those things will be predetermined, which is a great efficiency of it all, but we might just be stepping a little too fast for what we've been doing in the past. So perhaps a sign was just an idea. I certainly will cover this with Mike and Sam and Jim, but I just thought I'd share it with the rest of the council as an idea before you hear about it later in some other way, that maybe we had a chance to discuss it.
Good. Good. Other comments related to that? Comments or questions for Councilor Jameson? Councilor Rolfing?
Councilman, have you figured out how many signs that would take? Mike, any idea?
I didn't want to put Mike on the spot with
Yeah,
that.
but I'm just wondering, logistically, that might be a few hundred signs, or it could be a few thousand signs, too. I'm just thinking.
Certainly you can come forward, Mike, but again,
But we don't want to put you on that.
Jameson,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to put you on the spot, and it's, please approach. Thank you,
hurt your
Mr.
own
Cooper.
risk.
But can you give us kind of it was always my impression there weren't a lot of them that were, so it may not be a whole lot.
I don't think it's as many as you might think, because most of the changes are already developed land. The majority of the rezonings that you will see in the future would be vacant land that will come through with a specific request.
Exactly, and the vacant land is where the neighbors usually want to get involved. You're right, if you're redeveloping a corner at 49th and Louise that's already developed, and now they do something different, that's different. It's the vacant land, I think, that we need to perhaps reach out a little further with the public, just to let them know the deal has changed, and here's how they get to be more informed about what could happen here. Just so they're not, absent from the conversation, that's all.
Councilor Rolfing, go ahead, and then Councilor.
And so what you're saying is if there's a vacant lot, sort of surrounded by some neighbors and things like that, like we had at Cliff and 57th, it would be good to stick a sign in there that said, this is what could possibly happen there under the new situation.
Just an idea is all.
Councilor Karski, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah.
Will our process for notifying people on zoning changes be different under the shaped places than it is currently?
No, it's exactly the same. Nothing
Okay.
changes.
So they're going to get a letter, or people within a certain
Yep.
distance are going to get a letter. We're going to have a sign up there.
I think
So-
what
No,
I
that's
think
fine.
what Councilor Jameson is referring to is that, well, let's just talk about 69th and Cliff. Currently, with that commercial zoning, anything over 1 acre or over 1,500 square feet needs a conditional use. With the proposed zoning that we're looking at, that property, they could build up to a 25,000 square foot building without any public hearing.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about, that example?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Staggers, adding or,
Yeah, Mike, isn't it fair, though, that like with 69th and Cliff, it's going to be C2 now, and a company wants to build a 25,000 square foot building there. What Greg is proposing is to allow people to know about this. Okay, they find out about it, they come here, and they can't do anything about it anyway, can they?
No, they would not.
So it's going to frustrate them.
But again, as we've tried to explain over these many months, that with the landscaping and buffering and all the other requirements, we believe that those are going to address neighborhood concerns. And we're going to show examples at second reading of what a 25,000 square foot building really looks like and how it would fit very well on a large lot. So, but I think that's what Councilor Jameson is just referring to. So,
Councilor Jameson, do you have addition to this?
Right, it's really just to bridge that frustration gap and send them to a website, send them to a phone number, so they know how to get the information.
During the current process, is what you're saying, because that specific lot is being changed in zoning in the Shape Places process, correct?
Right.
Is that what we're talking about? Land that's undeveloped now, close to places where folks live and work, but the zoning is going to change in our vote, assuming it passes next week.
Yes.
Okay. Other additions to this? Councilor Rolfing, did you? Okay.
I kind of like the idea. I think it's a proactive kind of thing, and it's something that would help, and then would allow people to help maybe answer Councilor Staggers' question, that then they would be able to come to second reading if they didn't like it and express their concerns at that point, wouldn't it? Because that would be the second. That would be.
Oh, let me clarify the, if I could, the second reading that you'll have here next week, you'll put all this in motion.
Well, yeah.
If the land is being rezoned, then there'll be a public hearings. But like, say, for instance, this area, 60 on the Cliff, if it should stay C2, and the owner of the land doesn't request a zoning change, he could sell a section of that off and have a building start to be constructed. And what I'm thinking is that the neighbors who might be across the street wondering, well, what's going on there? And all of a sudden kind of go into a tizzy maybe about what could it be, what should it be? And we've made all these great, well-intended decisions for them, which I think are true, but they'll feel left out. And I'm just suggesting that we post that property with the zoning that is allowed there and access to information, so those neighbors see a sign or see something built, can go and see that, okay, I go to this website and figure it out, or I can call this number to figure it out, because there will not be any other chance for the public to be coming in front of us to say we don't want that or like that.
I was thinking that you wanted maybe to put this off a week or two and have all those places posted before we took the second vote.
yeah, you're talking after the vote.
It'd be after the
We
vote.
understand that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we can strategize how that could be done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Anderson, you have addition to this? Mike, you want to
Just a request, Mike. Next week when we do the presentation on this, could we list some of the major properties that are going to be looking at zoning changes?
Sure. Yep. Be
That
happy
might
to-
help us understand the scope of this.
Yep. Be happy to do that.
Okay. Comfortable, council? Are we, this was a new idea. I think it's a good idea. I'm just concerned about timing, but I think that's worked out too. Okay?
Yeah, we would still like to have a vote next Tuesday night, but I don't think you're suggesting that we wouldn't, even though you won't be here, so. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, other topics for council open discussion. Councilor Jameson.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
You know, last week we met here on Tuesday. I just got to get this off my chest, but the next day they announced that all the suites were sold for the event center, which was a wonderful thing, right? We can all admit to that. Great thing, right? But just kind of hit me the wrong way that perhaps a better way of doing it would have been, and potentially could still be, for all the rest of the seats that need to be sold. Imagine if we would have had a barrel in a public place for a special meeting, and everybody who wanted a suite and was committed to buying a suite signed on the dotted line, filled out a tag or something, and was dropped into this barrel in front of everybody and God, you know, and you turn this thing and we draw out 18 names. You are selected. Congratulations. Thank you for your help. 18 names are drawn out. But in the way that this was done, there is all kinds of room for accusations and innuendos. Not that they occurred, but anytime we deal with the public's money and public's assets like that, I think we should have gone the extra mile. Plus, it would have been an exciting event. But I don't know about a list. I don't know who was on it, who didn't get on it, if there was extra names that didn't get a suite. But that'd be interesting to know. But anyway, going forward, not that we're in charge of this process at all, but going forward, selling the other seats, perhaps that would be an exciting way and an appropriate way to sell them. I think that would be exciting for everybody to be involved in. It would be completely open and transparent. Just a thought.
Councilor Entman.
While that would make for an exciting event, I don't know that that's a good business method of doing things like that. A lot of times when people go for those things, they don't want people to know, first of all, that they're doing it. There is a point of negotiation, and we did contract with a company and signed a contract with them to get the best possible deal we could for the citizens of Sioux Falls. And when I saw what those suites went for, I sat back in my chair and I said, wow. 3 days, and we did that. I thought, my goodness, you could not have asked for a better scenario, in my opinion. I think we maximized the opportunity. Nobody called me about a suite, and I had a few friends that contacted me, and you know, maybe they'd like to be on that list, but I can tell you right now, they're excited about the next opportunity and looking forward to what the low seats might be. I think we did do the right thing when we hired this company to do it. We are challenged. It's extremely controversial. A lot of mud was flung in this whole process over the event center. And I think what we have done is taken the high road on this, and we are getting the best value and the best dollars that we can for the citizens. And I think people realize that, and they do appreciate that. And I look at these commitments of 5, 7, or 10 years, and I just think this money is going towards the operational expenses of that facility. And what a good thing this is for the city. I think a lot of cities our size, or any city of any size, that has recently went and done one of these facilities are extremely envious of the position that Sioux Falls is in. And I think we need to be commended that our citizens are stepping up, and they are interested, and they want to be involved in this. And I quite honestly don't think that that's going to change as we go forward. And I do commend Legends for doing the good work that they did do, because they did go out and talk to an awful lot of people to determine what they thought the values could be on these suites and what they could get, the amenities that would be part of it. I think, Councilor Jameson, that they did do a very good job for the citizens of Sioux Falls.
Councilor Staggers.
I guess what I heard as a result of all this is that there were a lot of people that wanted suites that didn't get any, which is great. So what does that mean? We had high demand and a limited number of suites. And under those circumstances, maybe we should have thought of another model. For example, having an auction or something like that to maybe even get more than 45,000 or whatever the case might be. I mean, it's just a suggestion. It's so easy to take a look in reflection here, but we did have a lot of demand and a limited resource.
Councilor Jameson, did you have more?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the hiring the consultant, Councilor Intamin, was exactly right. Hiring somebody to figure out the market value. You know, let's be clear, I'm not arguing about that. I'm arguing about the process and the transparency of it. And I think we could have had a better way of doing it. We should have done it better. And I think going forward, we have the opportunity to do it differently.
Okay, thank you. Other topics for council open discussion? Seeing nothing, I'm going to move forward on our presentations. 2013 Sculpture Walk Program, Mike Cooper, Director of Planning and Building Services. Russ Sorensen, Urban Planner. Jim Clark, Director of Sculpture Walk. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Council. Russ Sorensen with the City of Sioux Falls Planning Office, and this afternoon we're here to present to you the 2013 Sioux Falls Sculpture Walk Program, as well as the 4 slides for the Orpheum Theater Courtyard Plaza areas. The Sculpture Walk Program, as you know, is in its 10th year. We started with 34 sculptures 10 years ago, and we're up to 55. And we had 140 entries that were received from 80 artists this year, and they were juried by the Sculpture Walk Committee. And the Sculpture Walk Program is, again, an international program and countrywide, with 3 countries, Belgium, Canada, and Italy, are represented this year. And 21 states are also represented. And there are 18 new artists in this year's program. As you're well aware, that Sculpture Walk is significant in that it helps create that first impression of our downtown area for visitors by bringing a large number of sculptures to our central downtown business district. Public votes for their favorite sculpture deemed the people's choice, and that sculpture is purchased then by the city for up to $15,000. Sculpture Walk and the city staff representing the ADA Advisory Review Board, Public Works Engineering, Planning and Risk Management, along with the Visual Arts Commission, have all reviewed and favorably recommended this year's 2013 program. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jim Clark, the Executive Director for Sculpture Walk, to give you a snapshot of what the 2013 program is.
Good.
Jim?
Thank you, Russ. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Russ. Good to be back in front of the council for our 10th time. Councilor Staggers was here in the beginning. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
We're very excited about the 10th anniversary in 2013 on Installation Weekend, which is May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We want to thank the city and all of our sponsors for the wonderful collaboration over the years. It has all worked quite well. In conjunction with the anniversary milestone, we're launching the exposition and sale at the Washington Pavilion on Installation Weekend. Our 2013 artists will be displaying over 250 sculptures, and all will be for sale. We'll install the 55 sculptures downtown early Saturday morning, that's the 4th, and then the expo and sale will be Saturday afternoon and evening, and again on Sunday afternoon. The expo is free to the public, and those that come down will experience the biggest and best sculpture exhibit ever in the region. So you don't want to miss it. For the upcoming Sculpture Walk, as Russ had mentioned, we had 114 entries that were narrowed down to the top 55 and several alternates, and I will present those to you today. 4 artists from Sioux Falls, 8 from South Dakota, and 15 are from the 5-state region. 17 of the 54 artists are new to Sculpture Walk. What you will see today are the photos and a sketch or 2 from the artist entries. The sculpture sites will be constant, but for various reasons, a few of the sculptures may be moved around between now and Installation Weekend. Okay, Russ, we'll go ahead and get started. We start in the South Plaza at the Pavilion with our first sculpture. Go north to 11th Street and then down to Phillips and north on the west side, clear up into Uptown area, and then come back on the east side of the street, go over to 8th Street, come back again on the east side of Phillips, and then back around towards Minerva. So it's quite a tour. So the sites aren't mentioned here, but I'll share the photos and also tell you where they're at. Lane Gala here is a sculptor from Rapid City, and this is actually a 10-foot sculpture, not a 10-inch sculpture. So it's a large sculpture in the South Pavilion. And moving north up on the southeast corner of 11th and Main is Mother's Cherished Moments by Ben Hammond, great artist from Utah. And then kitty corner across the street is Real Thing, done by Lee Badger of West Virginia. And then down onto Phillips Avenue, northwest corner of 11th and Phillips, is Whoa, done by Wayne Salge, a new artist. Spherian is the title, or excuse me, Spherian is the sponsor. Robot Face, done by Paige Frazee. She's a 15-year-old artist from Millbank, and her dad is also an artist this year. The fans, you probably recognize the name Lee Looning and Sherry Treby, the partnership. I've done a lot of our sculptures in South Dakota, particularly at the Capitol. And this is in front of the Carpenter condominiums. Three Cubs in a Tree, done by Eric Thorson of Montana. Nice sized sculpture in front of Mrs. Murphy's Irish Gifts. Sioux Falls is the title of Chris Powell's sculpture, and this will be in front of Prairie Star Gallery. Getting the Net, done by Osamedo Obazi, originally from Nigeria, lives in California, and is planning to move to Sioux Falls because he likes it so much. Fantastic artist. This is in front of the McGowan Building, which is on the southwest corner of 10th and Phillips. Then going across the street to the north is Sentinel, done by Carl McMahon. He is from the westernmost part of British Columbia, Canada. In fact, he lives on an island in the Pacific, Outer Barrier Island. Don't Play With Your Food, done by Julie Jones of Indiana. When we have smaller sculptures like this, we try to put them together, and we have two together south of the diner. The next one is Rick Haugen's sculpture Madonna and Child, and Rick owns and manages the foundry here in Sioux Falls. Dream of Flight, James Maher, new artist from the Black Hills area. That's in front of the diner. The Journey, done by Ken Bjorgi, grew up here in Sioux Falls, graduated from Washington High School, and is an attorney that turned into a sculptor, and lives in the beautiful area of Flathead Lake in northwest Montana. And I talked to attorneys here in Sioux Falls, and they all know Ken. He has quite a reputation. Dreamer, this is our Belgium artist, and this sculpture will be on the north side of the fountain in Fountain Square. Breaking Waves, done by Felix Velez of Colorado. This will be in the fountain area. Lakota Sun, also along Phillips by the CNA building there, done by Sean Morin of Ohio. Nice size sculpture, 8 feet high. Europa, Joshua Kaufman. Now, some of the sculptures, when we get the photos, the sculptures are in process. This is one of them. And this morning I got a sculpture photo, and it's almost done. It's still in the clay mold, but it's just unbelievably beautiful. And so I can't wait to see it when it's done. New artist from Philadelphia. Graco Media, done by Del Pettigrew from Nebraska, and yes, he is a cousin of the Pettigrews from South Dakota. And this will be on the corner, southwest corner of 9th and Phillips. Next Generation over on Main, 9th and Main, will be Louisa Altman's sculpture in front of First Dakota National Bank. Coming back on Phillips in front of Wells Fargo will be Rising Up, done by Matt Miller of Missouri. Then going clear over onto 8th and Main will be Slapshot, done by Judd Nelson of Wayzata, Minnesota. Then back to Phillips Avenue again, 8th will be Burrito, done by Martha Pettigrew. And then we're going north, down by the Orpheum. Percussion 3, done by Cynthia Anderson. She's from Chaska, Minnesota. Now over on to 6th and Main. In front of Fresh Produce is Eye of the Wind, done by Dee Clements, a USD graduate that lives in Colorado. Further north by the museum will be Going Deep, done by Robert Bruce of Sioux Falls. And further north in front of AdWorks is Radiance, done by Gregory Johnson of Georgia. Coming back onto Phillips Avenue at about 7th is Twilight, done by Stephen Mack of Florida. Now over onto 8th Street by 8th and Reed. Kitty Corner from 8th and Railroad is Whisper, done by Noelio Gonzalez of Florida, originally from Cuba and escaped on a raft, and now lives in Florida. Ant Venture, done by Art Bellevue, always adds humor to his sculptures. He's from northern Minnesota. Coming back onto Phillips Avenue is Energy, done by Roger Junk of Minneapolis. At 9th in front of First National Bank. Time Stretch and Glitch Girl, done by Tom Nienaber from Texas. Further south in the Big Planter, done by Mark Yale Harris of New Mexico. Large sculpture, 61 inches high and 80 inches long, so we had to, this was the only place we could put it, in that big planter in front of First Financial Center. Further south, actually this one has already been moved, and it will go down in front of the Shriver Building. But for now, for this presentation, it's in front of the First Financial. We have a big bear, another big bear sitting there now. Wild on the Thule. We have 3 sculptures together now. They're all about the same size, done by Shohini Ghosh of Colorado. She's originally from India. Midsummer Night's Dream, done by Juan Choi, originally from Korea, lives in the Philadelphia area. And Kate Christopher from Montevideo, Twin City area. Look and you will find it, and we've had some of her sculptures like this in past years. Benediction, done by Bobby Carlisle. If you've been at the airport, she also did the Aviator out there. It's in the check-in area. Big, beautiful sculpture. Further south, in front of Kalades, is The Thinker, done by Serge Majnevsky, originally from the UK, now it lives in Vancouver. Mary Zimmerman from southern Colorado is Puff and Pie. This is in front of Rayfield's Gallery. Further south is The Farmer, done by Larry Stark, a new artist this year, in front of Suzanne's. Twisted Perch, this is further south near Shriver's, done by Deb Zelenik. Again, this one's just in process. She had a similar sculpture 2 years ago, and it was second in People's Choice. So when it's done, it'll be a spectacular piece. Butterfly, another one in process. He's working on the wings right now, and they're probably about, I think, at least a 10-foot wingspan on this sculpture. This is Jacques Frizzy, the father of this 15-year-old girl. He graduated from Augustana, played football. He's about 6'8", about 400 pounds, huge guy. And it takes like a 5XL shirt, so just, which we can't get, but just a great guy and a great artist. I love his work. Seats Taken, done by Gregory Mendez from Indiana. again, a sketch. He has had works this year. It's on the northwest corner of 10th and Phillips. I forget the name of it. But it's like an angel with one wing, if you remember that. Does fantastic work. This is in front of Dakota Bank. Otter Tail, also in front of Dakota Bank, done by Jerry McKellar of Washington. Nice bronze piece. Gorgeous Gertie Grouper in front of the coffee shop done by Traditions. This will be in bronze, done by Cheryl Stone. Threading the Needle, new artist, Joellen Domenico from Colorado. And part of it's sandstone and bronze. So that will be new for us this year, that material. Brimstone, done by Jerry Eichinger from Oregon. This was in front of the federal courthouse. Anywhere but here in front of Midco Communications. We thought this sculpture fit there well. And across the street, Vermont Winter Pastoral, done by Kat Clear, new artist from Vermont. It should be fun, I think. Photo op. And then further north from the waters, done by Ray Cobalt from Chicago. This is the northwest corner of 12th and Phillips. Agitated Avians, also at that same corner, done by Craig Schneider of the Twin City area. Crescendo, done by Sam Spixa, will be near Bechtold Jewelers. Windswept, done by Bob Tenkate, Sioux Falls artist. This will be in front of Meyer Henry's law firm. And then Cupid and Psyche, Cody Swanson grew up in Minneapolis area. He's the Italian artist, and he has been the lead sculptor, actually lead instructor at the Florence School of Sculpture in Florence, Italy. And he did a lot of work up at the cathedral for the renovation. So that's how he knew about Sculpture Walk. And some alternates. Cross My Heart from Eichinger, Martin Eichinger. Great Blue from Jim Green from the Black Hills. New Dancing Moon, Swanson from Colorado. Raven Swanson. The Power of Running Horses, done by Jim Kennedy of Colorado. Zodiac Totem, we had one of these a few years ago, but this is a little different and larger, done by Pokey Park of Arizona. Tashunkatopa 2, done by John Sterner of Marshall, Minnesota. Helios Rising, Sam Spixa. Recoil, Mark Harris again. Mother and Child from Cody Swanson. Where We Are, Matt Miller from Missouri. A lot of alternates. Book of Life, actually this one is going to be in Sculpture Walk because one of them had already dropped out. So this is, we're going to be getting this one. This will be good. Taking Off, Jacques Frazee does some real unique sculptures from machine parts. Dance of the Flower Feed, Juan Choi. Walrus, Dolores Shalady. She started sculpting after she turned 60. And she wanted sculptures to be large so kids could climb on them. She had worked at a zoo. She did the polar bears, too. As They Ran, done by Lance Carlton of Washington. Mother Earth, done by Judd Nelson of Twin Cities. Is that it? That must be it for the alternates. Okay, we're also going to review the Orpheum sculptures. We have 4 selected for the Sculpture Garden, Gandhi, which is in Sculpture Walk 2012 now, done by Felix Velez, and Felix is standing behind Gandhi. Mixed emotions. Valerie Schaefer, a new artist, has not been in Sculpture Walk, and I think she's from Indiana. Stephen Mock, Circus Trick, that is in Sculpture Walk 2012. Crescendo, Gregory Johnson from Georgia. Black and Red, David Scora from the East Coast, has not been in Sculpture Walk. Friendship Knot 2, done by Yupin. Her last name is real long. Originally from Thailand, but lives in New York. And that's it for the Orpheum sculptures.
Great.
So, you see, we have quite a variety of great artists, and we're very pleased with the show that we're going to be presenting in 2013.
Very exciting. It's always like one of those first signs of spring, Jim, when you are here to present Sculpture Walk for us. You and the Robins are bringing spring and summer for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Questions or comments from council regarding Sculpture Walk? These sculptures are items 17 and 18 on our agenda this evening. We will, it's proposed that we adopt them by resolution. Councillor Jameson.
Maybe I should know this. The sculpture that we have in front of the Carnegie Hall here, I think it's an eagle, or is that what it is? An eagle?
It is an eagle, yes.
Do we rotate something through there, or is it always?
That was purchased and donated to the city.
It was purchased.
About 2005, I think it was, a long time ago. Mm-hmm.
Lovely sculpture. Good. Other questions? Councillor Entman, and welcome.
There is a program, is there not, Jim, where the People's Choice, the city ends up buying that and displays it someplace in the city? Is that correct? Can you explain that program again, please?
That is correct. Every year, the city purchases the People's Choice sculpture for $15,000. Oftentimes, the sculpture is valued much higher than that, but the artists agree to sell them for that to the city. Because if they achieve a People's Choice, then the value of all their other work goes up in the future. So that's why they're willing to do that. And right now we're working on a permanent place for all of those sculptures that are still temporarily positioned. We have some sculptures at the downtown city library that will stay there, I think, won't they? Yeah, I'm sure they will. And other places. Yeah, we're building up quite a collection of sculptures.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Was it Councillor Ralphing? Did you have? Okay, Councillor Staggers, go ahead.
Jim, do you become involved in our sculpture walk at USF?
Yes,
oh,
that's
okay.
correct.
I wasn't quite sure.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? Councillor Anderson, go ahead.
Just a comment. As a young councilman, Jim requested that I join the Xcel Energy Advisory Board for the state of South Dakota a few years ago. And Jim has just recently left his leadership position with Xcel Energy, but I am very happy to see that he is going to continue his contributions to our city and our area here. So I want to thank you, Jim, and I'm glad to see you continuing doing what you really like to do.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson. I'd like to mention, too, that we have quite a volunteer group that most of them have been with us for the entire time, and very loyal and work hard in the rain and cold days, and we couldn't do without them, and also all of our sponsors, too. So, and we work with many of the different city departments, and they're all wonderful to work with, so we're very pleased. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Any other comments or questions? All right. Thank you again. We appreciate your work and this contribution to the city. No other business to come before the group at this time. I do need a motion to move into executive session. The wording is, the citation needs to be as noted on the agenda, if I could have that. And then I would note, after we do that, we will come back to the committee meeting following. The Public Services Committee will begin 10 minutes after we adjourn the executive session. So, do I have a motion?